Well, this is a result that we all pretty much expected, right? Ohio State beats Grambling State 70 to nothing, and this was their first game against an FCS opponent since 2013. They beat Florida A&M. I think it was like 76 nothing or something like that. You saw crisp movement from this offense. A lot of young guns got to shine, and I got my first game in the horseshoe. What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate. Today, I'm a sports media graduate. I have a massive passion for everything in the world of sports, especially college football, and especially my Ohio State Buckeyes. If you're a Buckeye fan like myself, or hey, just a college football fan, hey, if you're a Buckeye fan, you want to watch me break down the Buckeyes and listen to these videos, Ohio State fan reaction, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. But you can also subscribe for college football content all throughout the year. Later on today, we'll be posting my new edition of the Power 30. As well as my takeaways from week 2 of college football. Game number 2 for the Buckeyes went swimmingly, and this video is going to be kept very, very short because really, how much can you take away from a game against an FCS opponent where you saw a lot of young guns, you knew you were going to win handedly, so on and so forth? Probably not much. However, there are, I think, a couple things that you can take away. One, this offense did open up. Now, it did not open up crazy amounts. We still saw nothing outlandish offensively until some of the backups got in. There was a nice, tricky little reverse play that I really, really liked watching, especially in person. But Julian Sayin, we got to start with him because, man, was he on fire yesterday. Broke the record for most consecutive passes completed to start a game, and I think was one shy of tying the mark set by CJ Stroud for consecutive completions at any point in any game, period. So, safe to say that Julian Sayin's going to be the next really, really good to great starting Buckeye quarterback. At least he looks that way so far. He played absolutely out of his mind. I'm pulling up the stat line here, right here. It was 306 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 incompletion was on the goal line. It actually ended up being a pick. Good read by the defensive back. Bad throw from Julian Sayin, but it was the only bad throw he made all night because every other throw found someone wearing his same color jersey. This running game took a little bit of time to fully get going, but the team averaged 7.2 yards per carry throughout the game. A lot of young guns got to shine. We'll talk about them in a minute. Wide receiver room, hey, that's more like it. Jeremiah Smith, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Parnell Tate had a touchdown. Will Merrick ended up getting involved. The former Ohio transfer gets to play his former team next week. Jelani Thurman, he got into the end zone as well. Was really happy to see that. He got the pass from Lincoln Keenholz once number 3 ended up coming into play in that game. But an all-around, really, really good performance offensively. Again, I still think this is an offense that has got more to give from a play-calling standpoint. I still think there are going to be some more tricky route combinations and things that they're going to throw at opposing defenses that are a lot tougher to defend than what they threw at Grambling today. There obviously was that mismatch in talent, and the game was never in doubt. Defensively, let's get a little nitpicky for a second. I still got a couple of issues with the defensive line, and we'll talk about the big one here in a moment. But this secondary, man, let's start it off on a positive. Oh my goodness, this secondary is out of its mind. It is out of its mind. It is so good. Caleb Downs is one of the best football players. I mean, just sitting up there in the stands, watching him in person, it's a lot different because normally you don't see the back end of the secondary and all the pieces defending when you're watching on your television screen. There was no room at all for any of these Grambling State quarterbacks that got to play to throw the ball. Even when the Buckeye backups, the second stringers, the third stringers, when they got in, didn't miss a beat. Sure, you're going to have a couple things here and there, but for the most part, man, this secondary is so sharp. It is so good. Matt Patricia has done a phenomenal job at disguising coverages, at being able to trick the opposing offenses and throwing a whole bunch of stuff at you. And yet, I still don't think it's that tricky. I mean, disguising coverages, yeah, it's going to work really well, but I still don't think Ohio State's done anything super tricky. A little bit more pressure being brought today, but here's where you can get nitpicky with this game. And I honestly don't even think it's that nitpicky. You got to finish your pass rushes. Now, did it matter that much in this game? No. Was it going to? No, it was not. And I'm honestly surprised it didn't matter more against Texas. I said this in my video last week. But when you have to start playing guys like Parker Navarro next week at Ohio, who's got some good weapons, a good offensive line in front of him, when you have to go play Penn State and Drew Aller, when you even go play Luke Altmaier, I was very impressed with him in that game against Duke. Most passing yards that Illinois has had in the game since I think 2015 or 16. So, man, the Illini really starting to change course here, and Brett Bielema open up that passing game. Oh, man, Illinois is a really dangerous team. We have to go on the road in Champaign to play them. You got to start finishing off some of these pass rushes, and they were close a couple of times, but, close, but no cigar. So you got to be able to finish off the pass rushes. Only 3 total sacks for the Buckeyes so far, and which they probably could have had 5 or 6 in this game alone, if my memory is serving me correctly. Being able to finish those pass rushes. Now, again, is it mattering that much right now? No, because the secondary is awesome. The secondary did that against Texas too. It's why, when you look at the numbers and you're like, wow, they only had 1 sack and didn't really bring that much pressure, is because the secondary in the back end was fantastic. So if the secondary can keep that up, does it really matter what the defense could do? I would argue yes, because you still want your defensive line to help you out. I'm sure the secondary would thank all those front members of the defensive front in being able to get home and being able to finish off these pass rushes. And again, I know I'm getting nitpicky here, but you've got to be able to finish those pass rushes. You have to. You have to get the quarterback down. You got to get the sack. However, let's flip it back over to a positive. Positive, negative, positive. Your mama didn't teach you that. I just did. Positive, negative, positive, always. The defensive front, and really this defense as a whole, did a very nice job of being able to get into that backfield. I wish they would finish the pass rush a little bit more, generate some more sacks, but they had, I think, 9 or 10 tackles for loss yesterday. Truly outstanding. Again, it shows you that they are able to create pressure. They are able to create havoc, but especially in those pass rushing situations, you've got to be able to finish those off. Let's talk about some of the young players here that really got to shine. Bo Jackson. I think we all knew that Bo Jackson was going to be a really good running back. I don't know if many people thought he was going to be this good. He was the leading rusher for the Buckeyes yesterday, 108 yards and a touchdown on only 9 carries, including ripping off a 51-yard run. Safe to say, I think Bo Jackson going to end up being pretty darn good. James Peoples, C.J. Donaldson, of course, the starters played well. Isaiah West, he came in and played really well. I was very impressed with what I saw out of Isaiah West. So there you go. You got 4 deep in this running back room. Wide receiver room, saw Bryson Rodgers a little bit, saw Mylan Graham a little bit. Mylan Graham actually made a phenomenal move on his lone catch. Got to see some of the other young guns shine. And defensively, though, it's going to be this guy that's right over here, Riley Pettijohn. Oh, my goodness. Watch out for number 20 on the Silver Bullet defense. He was flying all over the field. I was really impressed once Riley Pettijohn ended up getting into the game. Now, the stat line is not going to blow you away from a tackle standpoint. Only 2 tackles, but did defend a pass, did recover a fumble that he returned for a touchdown, and I think helped force another fumble in there as well. So he really made the most of the time that he got on the field. Stupidly impressed with what I saw from, again, number 20 on the Silver Bullet defense. Couple other young guns that you could say, yeah, they really played well. And, I think I'd be sitting here all day if I were to pick out every single name. There were a ton of guys that played really well. Tavian St. Clair got to make his collegiate debut, helped lead a scoring drive, even though he didn't complete a pass. But regardless, this is a Buckeye team that, me highlighting all these young players, one, they deserve the love and attention. They work just as hard as the starters. And, man, it really showed out in this game against Grambling State. And when you're a team as good as Ohio State, your young pieces, the up-and-comers, the second and third stringers, they're going to get times to shine. This game was one of those, and they made the most of it. But it also proves how deep this Ohio State team is. The secondary is ridiculously deep. With Riley Pettijohn coming in, with him sort of emerging, I think he can play a big part down the stretch when they need him to come into a moment and look to switch some things up. I think Riley Pettijohn's going to be a very good player this year. So linebacking is deep. Maybe the one concern you have is on the defensive front, but I even think that is a pretty deep unit. They were getting consistent backfield pressure all game long. Again, nitpicky, just finish off those pass rushes and get some sacks. Otherwise, you take a look at the rest of this offense. We know the wide receiver room is deep. It's one of the best units in the country. Lincoln Keenholz had moments where he looked not so great, but other moments where he actually looked pretty darn good. Tight end room is deep. You saw Kaczmarek and Thurman get into the end zone, and they're not even the best tight end on the team. That belongs to Max Clare. Just one catch for 7 yards in that game there yesterday. Running back room, Bo Jackson, Isaiah West. They're going to add to James Peoples and CJ Donaldson. And I don't think we see Bo Jackson get utilized that much because I do believe that they're going to try to redshirt him so that they can keep him for an extra year if possible. But man, this is the Buckeye team that just proved how deep they are. They definitely cemented themselves as the #1 team in the country. LSU had some moments where they struggled. Penn State had some moments where they struggled. I know Clemson lost last week to LSU, but man, did they really struggle against Troy. However, I do got to give a shout out to another Big Ten team. I already gave one to Illinois because they thoroughly impressed me, and I think Brett Bielema's got a top 10 team. My college football playoff pick for him looks really good right about now. Oregon. I don't think enough people are talking about the Ducks, man. They poured it on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and I know Oklahoma State, had the really unfortunate injury to what was their starting quarterback, and they're trying to build back up from a disappointing year last year. Not enough people are talking about Dante Moore, Dan Lanning, and the Oregon Ducks. That is going to be a fun team to watch this year. And Oregon Penn State shaping up to be just one of the best games of the college football season. But this one right here, 70-0. I don't really have much more to say because, again, how much can you take away from it? Probably not much, but man, Julian Sand looked so good. They finally opened up the passing game for him, and it worked to perfection. The offensive line is getting great push. The defensive line is getting pressure. Just want them to be able to finish the pass rush and get the sacks. Linebacking room is great. The secondary is probably the best unit in the country. Even special teams, on point, fantastic. Maybe besides a bad read from a returner late in the game. But again, you don't really have to count or read into that much. Otherwise, guys, I really don't have much more to say besides enjoy some of the moments from the shoe. I took a lot of videos, and I actually was going to do sort of like a, hey, here's my reaction from the shoe thing, but a lot of my audio and video when I was talking directly to you guys through the camera got corrupted, or you couldn't hear me properly, so I decided to scrap it. And instead, I just wanted to talk about my thoughts on this game. Really fun place to be, by the way. Now, I hear many of you asking, what, Nate, that's your first game in the shoe? It's because I was never in the state of Ohio during football season. Now that I'm in the professional world, I chose to be in the state of Ohio. I am in the state of Ohio. I want to go to more Buckeye games, and I'm very thrilled that I got to go to that one. I know it was a slathering, but it's what I expected. You go for the environment, go to meet some good people, and that I did. Met some good people, had some nice conversations. Really, really fun place to be, and still 100,000 people packed the stands. By the way, bands were great. First time seeing the best damn band in the land in person. Absolutely love that. Grambling State Band. Oh boy, they were a whole lot of fun. I know the HBCUs, they love their bands, and I was a marching band kid myself, so all of it really cool to see. During alumni band week, it was Quad Script Ohio. Stupidly cool. Script Ohio itself is just one of the best things that you can see on a college football field. When you get 4 of them going at the same time, truly sensational. Hey, let's go to some of my moments from the shoe and a little collage of video clips there. And I'll see you next week when we review the game against Ohio. Remember to play hard but tailgate harder, and enjoy my moments from the shoe. Goodbye.
Let's go!